My cousin is a computer science student and he wants to drop out of his master's. He asked me whether he should.
I don't know what to do.
But I didn't just want to give him my view on it, I wanted to check for hidden downsides. I also wanted to check how important it is to have a university degree in the first place. So I asked 4 recruiters from different big tech companies, I asked on Reddit, and I also asked an ex-coworker who dropped out of his master's 7 years ago. Stick around until the end to find out whether he has any regrets on that decision.
So do you have any regrets?
I've been a software engineer for more than 10 years. I've been a hiring manager for more than 5 years now, so I have my own opinion on this topic.
You're old enough to be my mama.
I don't know whether most people I've worked with have a master's degree or university degree, and I care even less.
I'm glad they're not dead, but other than that, I don't care.
It's much more predictive of success to look at other things. And when I'm interviewing and hiring, I give people the opportunity to show their impact. Plus,
if you're good at something, never do it for free.
If you want to stay in academia and be a researcher or a professor, a master's obviously matters. And you will have to work towards a PhD too. But you don't need me to tell you that. In my career in tech, I've mostly not used any of the theoretical knowledge I've gained from my master's.
Superstring theory, chaos math, advanced algorithm.
That's 2 years of studying pretty much down the toilet.
Very good investment.
Plus, I didn't get any real-world software engineer skills until I actually started working. For God's sake, I didn't write a single automated test in university, and no one cared about the quality and maintainability of my code during my studies. In university, projects don't need to be scalable or secure. I got top marks on a project that was full of places where you could do SQL injection.
Oh my God.
My experience is not the exception, it's the rule. In one company where I worked, I got a teammate who I later found didn't have a computer science degree. I learned about this because he asked me to approve his expense to take an undergraduate degree. He was doing a solid job, and the feedback from his team was very good. But he felt a bit of imposter syndrome and like he was missing the basics. So do most developers. That imposter syndrome doesn't go away with a degree. Spending his weekend studying for 2 years while maintaining a full-time job is a big sacrifice, but I also get why someone would do it, especially when the company pays for it.
Don't worry about lunch, it's on me.
This is actually an option worth considering. If you want to optimize for your career and minimize the risk, you can get both a full-time job and continue your master's on the weekend. Back when I worked in Visa, I had an intern who took a full-time job in Microsoft. She dropped out of university in Munich and enrolled in a remote university. So she's now finishing her master's on the weekend. Now, all 4 recruiters I asked were unanimous.
It's unanimous!
A master's and even an entire university degree matters more at the beginning of a career and in bigger companies. It also depends on the market specifics. For example, in Poland, there's more demand than good talent available. Therefore, smaller companies such as software houses or startups oftentimes hire developers without any degree, as long as they show strong technical skills. In corporations, having at least a bachelor's degree is very much desired, but it becomes less relevant if you're looking for a very experienced developer. 15 years of experience can tell you how good a candidate is a lot better than a university degree ever will. A master's matters in the beginning, when you're getting your first job, and it doesn't seem to matter much after that. So if you're wondering if it's a good idea to quit your master's, the main question is, do you have a job now? Are you a working student, and can you convert that into a full-time position? And does this company you're working for have good tech practices that will help you level up from a programmer to an actual software engineer? If the answer is yes, you can skip your master's, pass go, and collect $200.
Get my ass kicked to collect $200. What do you think?
Skipping your bachelor's is riskier, and I wouldn't recommend it for most people unless you have a really unique opportunity that requires this.
This is my once-in-a-lifetime deal.
On Reddit, the views were similar, but some people warned that a bachelor's degree and sometimes even a master's could be a factor for people trying to immigrate to a different country. Also, that sometimes in big corporations that are not primarily tech companies like Bosch or Siemens, the master's can help you get a higher salary. I didn't confirm that, but I can imagine there are companies like that. Personally, I prefer to work for tech companies because it's better for my growth, my career, and my finances. It's also more fun, and the salary band would never depend on my master's degree. Finally, like I mentioned in the beginning, I had a coworker who dropped out of his master's.
I dropped out of college today.
He was a working student in my startup. The CTO of the company told him not to drop out and to finish his studies because there was no rush to work full-time.
Stay in school, kid.
That to me sounded like responsible, very well-intentioned, generic advice a father would give. The CTO was optimizing for the safest option for the student, which is not necessarily the best option. My colleague dropped out of his master's. This was years ago, and this is what he told me today. He doesn't regret dropping out of his master's program. Not even a little bit. One of the best decisions he's ever made for his career. He's seen zero disadvantages. He admits, though, that he hasn't made many jumps to different companies during his career. It's worth noting that in my current company, my buddy has been entrusted to take on a management position, and he's currently a staff developer, which is a very high position, especially for someone so young. This highlights something important that our CTO overlooked back then. When deciding on whether you'll do your master's, you need to consider the opportunity cost and not just the risk. If my buddy decided to do his master's, he'd have less time to invest in his job, which gave him a lot more joy, and also helped his growth in career more. So if you can get a good job already, a master's is not great value in my opinion. But it would be criminal of me not to mention another way of looking at this. Most people are in a university once, and it can be an amazing social experience. Mine wasn't though. Mine sucked. In university, you're not just studying. You're potentially making lifelong friends and dating and partying. That also has value, and it's up to you to decide what's more important and what will make you happiest. Now, that will just be the beginning of your journey, and later on you might want to make sure you don't choose the wrong path for your career. And to help you with that, you should make sure you watch this video next to prepare yourself and not make a catastrophic mistake. This video can save you years of misery.
Sounds ominous.